So to start that sentence over, this is what I can call the exploring class, or what I also call the advanced class. But no pressure on feeling advanced. Some days I feel like I'm advanced and I'm a lot of years into it. And some days I'm like, ooh, we just messed that one all up. So I don't want advanced to feel like pressure. So we're exploring Tai Chi. Is there, while we get started on a whole new series of 16 weeks, is there anything in particular that you have in mind that you want to get out of this class?
Toward the end, I want to be able to let it be more memory of me doing it. Like the first two, I'm just so fluent with it, and I want to be able to be influent with the latter.
Gotcha. You want to be more of that slow, smooth, continuous, and know what's next without having
Yeah,
to think too much about it.
exactly.
Yes, that is a great goal. And it is a wonderful feeling when you get there because you can really settle down and experience the reduction of stress that Tai Chi can give us. Because when your brain is busy, then it kind of keys you up. So I love that goal, and I encourage you and will give you tips for that. And you're talking about with basic six and advanced six. You want to be there with those movements.
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes I call the advanced six part two on accident. We've just barely touched on part two. And maybe we'll be able to get further in there, especially now that Nora has a whole class under her belt. Sharita, I shouldn't put you on the spot. Anybody else have have a certain goal that you want from this exploring class?
I was actually thinking along the same line as Gwen. I'd like to be able to have that where I could just know what to do and move slowly and smoothly into it. Uh, didn't get there with the last class for sure.
That's okay.
And I hope that I won't have it all down pat, but have just a little bit more. The more I do, I feel like the better I am with all of my movements, all of my balance, all of the whole goals that it set out to be.
And that's what the program is intended to do, to be kind of progressive, where we start in one place and then we slowly get better. And that's true with anything in life. You know, the first time we do something, we're probably pretty bad at it, unless you're like a super like memory person or a super athlete. You know, there are just some people, they're just easily good at stuff. And but for the most part, it takes practice and time and repetition, and so that's what we're doing here is just progressively getting better. Anybody else?
I have something.
Okay.
I would like to learn the breathing techniques while I'm doing the movements.
Okay.
I don't think I'm doing that part right. And I know there's benefits to how you're breathing and moving at the same time. So I want to get more fluent in how I breathe when I do all the steps. And also how, soft knees and soft elbows and all of that.
Okay. I like that goal too. And I will have full disclosure to you that sometimes I feel like I don't know if I'm doing it right too. And what I
Right.
come to the conclusion of on the breathing aspect is if I'm not holding my breath when I do my movements, then I feel like I have done something like that deserves a star. There are moments in our Tai Chi when it lends itself a lot better to breath. And you know, you think about commencement, where we come up and we inhale and then we exhale as we come down. And that exhale takes twice as long as that inhale. And when we get to our open and close, we inhale and exhale. And so our breath kind of adjusts to the movements, or our movements adjust to the breath, either way. But there are some movements that just lend itself to an inhale and an exhale. And when we start getting into movements that have more pieces and parts, waving hands and clouds, then I'm less worried about when I breathe in and when I exhale, and more about, am I breathing or holding my breath? And so we'll explore breath more, because that's something that I get challenged with, mainly because I catch myself holding my breath. When you catch yourself holding your breath, that deserves a big star, because that is body awareness. And body awareness is one of the hugest gifts that Tai Chi gives us, because we are aware when we do something wrong and we fix it. So if we tend to hold tension, I've talked about this before, tension in my shoulders, where I would catch myself like pulling my shoulders up and leaving them up. And this is an extreme example, but even just ever so slightly holding them up, and then that can cause you to have neck and shoulder pain. So when you start to become aware of places that you're holding tension, you can let that go. I've caught myself holding tension in my jaw, and it's usually to keep myself from talking, because I like to talk, but I need to be a better listener. And so sometimes I'll clench my jaws to tell myself, not your turn to talk, not your turn to talk, So, but we got to let those tensions go. So body awareness is a huge gift that Tai Chi has given me in recognizing places that I need to make adjustments for. But I don't know to make the adjustments unless I'm aware that there's a problem. So thank y'all for sharing that with me. And we will do those things. And we'll do those things through repetition. And if your goals or your thoughts change throughout this 16 weeks, just let me know. You can let me know in class. You can message me, email me, call me. Y'all have all the ways to get in touch with me. And so that I may not immediately be available, but I will make myself available as soon as I can. If you need a one-on-one Zoom class like what we have right here, we can make time to do that. So I want it to be a positive experience for you all the way through, and I want to help you reach your goals with class. Now, the spiel about principle, the spiel about benefits, the spiel about how the program works or what there is about the program. The spiel about what resources are available to you. I hope by now y'all have one of everything that I have, unless you just don't need it or want it. About earning your sweatshirts. Now, I know last year we ran out of sizing, and Miss Gwen was so kind to be flexible with that. I know these sweatshirts are about the weirdest shape of sweatshirts. So
Yes, they are.
they're just odd. And y'all know I will cut my stuff up just quick, fast, and in a hurry. And so we make adjustments. I've had people that have re-sewn them, cut the bottom off and re-sewed the band up a little bit higher. And so, we want to be proud of what we're wearing, and we want to wear this right size. And so if we complete this, this class, and I'm saying this to this class only, I'm not saying it to beginners class, but if we get to the end of this class and you want a medium in whatever size, or a certain size in whichever color, however I say, I don't know what I just said, but I want to make sure that you get what you want, so that you're proud to wear it and go out there. So I didn't know when I ordered these sweatshirts that they were so funky and weird. So I'll have those people order me some samples, and then we'll take it from there. But we won't worry about that right now. Just know that when it comes to incentives, I want to treat y'all, and I want y'all to go out and represent the program and say, I'm part of this, and I love this, and I'm proud of this. And sweatshirts, t-shirts, they're a really good advertisement for the class. Studies have shown that t-shirts are a great advertisement. But if it's a junky, gross t-shirt, then nobody's going to be out there wearing it. Same thing with water bottles. Y'all know I believe in good water bottles, because I don't like a water bottle that sweats. I like a nice insulated water bottle that's going to keep my stuff cold or hot. All right, is that enough spiel for y'all?
We enjoy it.
You know, I'll always repeat principle all the way through to remind ourselves of principle, because all of our movements are guided by principle. And let's just start by walking, opening and closing our hands to get our bodies warmed up. Right now, we're in the warmest part of our weather, and that's why I have this door open, because it is very hot in this room if that door gets closed. But if it's warm outside and it's warm in your space, your muscles are going to be warm, because that's the environment that you're in. When it starts getting colder, and your muscles follow that same temperature. And so when your muscles are cold, you have to take an extra step to warm them up. Now, we're lucky living in the South. Most of the time, our muscles are pretty warm just from the environment that we're in, but we still want to take that time to kind of put that oil in our joints like the Tin Man on Wizard of Oz and get our muscles warmed up, ready to move, which lessens our chance of injury. Our bodies just feel better once they're warmed up, and it doesn't take a whole lot to warm up these muscles. Let me give y'all a personal update, just because y'all know. Now I have two juniors. I have a junior in high school, Olivia, and a junior in college, Patrick. And Patrick he graduated from Andrew College in May, which y'all know. And now he's at Middle Georgia at State University in Cochran. So he's close to you, Miss Sharita.
Yeah.
He's all moved in. He says he feels like he's at a real college, and I love that for him. Olivia, she's at high school, and she's doing all the things: competition cheer, student council, sideline cheer, and competition dance. And so you see what I have on, her button, and so that means we have a game tonight in Waycross. So my Fridays will be in red and black, most likely. So y'all will see me in school colors. That's just an update on my kids, and I'm good. I'm not sad or distraught or anything about my kids growing up. I'm in a good place. So y'all have been with me when I've had some angst and worries. And so I'm glad to be in this place of excitement with them growing up. All right. So come meet them. Look who's here, Blake. That's about all the words you'll get out of him. Guess who's the talker in the house? He's the best. He came and got my car and went and washed it and filled it up with gas, so that when we went to wake up tonight, we'd be in a clean car and a gassed up car. So that's the kind of man he is. He takes care of
That's good.
So I think I'll keep him. All right. But yeah, when we moved Patrick in and we met his roommate and his roommate's parents, I went on and told them, I said, if y'all get 2 words out of Blake, then you will call yourself talk to him. So you just don't worry about Blake. He doesn't really talk that much.
Wow.
All right, so let's get in our nice stable stance. We're going to go through our movements and kind of remind ourselves, all the way through what we do. And we will practice more and more with that jing or that mental quietness. But first, we just need to get back in the swing of things, get back in the swing of class. You don't have to tell me how much Tai Chi you've done over the summer. If you've thought about it, then that's enough for me. If you were excited to start class back over, that's enough for me. I know what life is like, and I did continue to teach Tai Chi at Anytime Fitness in Baxley over the summer, but I have missed this so much, and y'all wouldn't believe my excitement for my job this week now that my virtual classes are back. So, here we go. Inhale and exhale. Get in that rhythm of breath, of completely filling those lungs with air. And completely emptying our lungs with air. I want you to think about this belly coming out and going down, because what happens is those lungs completely fill and it pushes that diaphragm down onto that belly, and that's why that belly comes out whenever you deep breathe. So it's not our chest that rises, it's our belly that comes out because our lungs completely fill with air. If your chest is rising, then you're shallow breathing. You're just filling that top part of your lungs. Visit your posture. Think about upright, relaxed shoulders, head high. You have a soft bend in your knee and in your elbows. Your body is supported, but it's relaxed. We're not holding tension anywhere. We start our warm-ups with our neck. We bring our hands up, palms down, turn and pull them towards our chin and chest, turn and push away from our bodies, and then follow those hands with our eyes all the way down, chin to chest. You feel a slight stretch in the back of your neck. This movement lends itself to breath as you start that inhale as you come up. And then whenever you're ready to exhale, slowly exhale through pursed lips, or inhale or exhale through your nose, whatever works best for you. Pursed lips help slow down that exhale, but you can exhale through your nose if you kind of clamp down in the back of your throat, and it slows down that airflow. Our next neck exercise, we turn our head to the side, back to the front, and we are following that hand as we look to the side, but you can also think about this opposite shoulder and make sure it's pulled back slightly. Not enough to be tense, but just extra good posture, and you'll feel even a bigger stretch just in that whole upper body area. Although this is for our necks, we only have one, for our neck, or collectively we do have necks, but this movement is for our neck, but we also can feel it across our chest as well. I tend to get stuck on this one because I will hold tension in my neck and shoulders. I feel it most after I've had to drive quite a bit. Because, you can't just sit in the car and drive and be relaxed. You have to be extremely on guard and a defensive driver. Stressful to drive. And if your daughter's driving, it's stressful to be a passenger. All right, let's roll or son. I'm not with Patrick that much. I'm with Olivia driving more. So let's roll those shoulders forward. Small circles, which is a challenge. Think size of a quarter circles that you're drawing on the sides of your legs to try to keep it small. And then roll back. But we always roll back after we roll forward. This helps with resetting our posture. And it's like a little massage you give yourself. So we warm up our muscles by walking around. We get that heart rate up a little bit, walking around, open and closing our hands. And then we target one major joint at a time by doing these movements to warm them up more and stretch them a little bit. Other shoulder exercise, we bring our hands up, palms up, and turn and push down in front of us. So I want you to think about the core muscles. All right, so these muscles right here. As you're standing upright, as you're having that good posture, I want you to tighten these muscles, engage these muscles a little bit extra as you inhale up and exhale. So you're engaging those core muscles. And anytime we engage muscle, we're helping make those muscles stronger. So you can have a good posture without really engaging or almost forcing. I don't necessarily like the word force. It doesn't feel soft like Tai Chi is, but we're intentionally engaging that muscle. And I think it's a challenge to breathe and engage that muscle. But that's a good challenge. One more. See what a relaxing experience that movement can be when we put it with our breath. So Nora, you talk about breath, and that's just one of those movements. I mean, here I'm standing, but remember, I still ain't got that chair out of my trunk of my car, but that fold-up chair that I bring in here, and you can sit and do that. And what's great about sitting and doing that shoulder warm-up stretch and adding in the breath is that you don't have to worry about staying upright. You don't have to use as much muscle in your legs because you don't have to hold yourself up. That chair is holding you up. And when you do it seated, it's not because you're not able to do it standing, but you can just relax more. And you can even close your eyes and enjoy that moment. You can't always close your eyes when you stand up. Sometimes it disorient. I don't know. What's the word? Disorient. Disorient. I was right. That just didn't feel right. It makes you disoriented. So you know your body and how that would make you feel. But being able to sit, you can relax more into it. So you can practice that breath seated and probably get more benefits from a seated shoulder movement with the breath than if you do it standing, because you don't have to worry about your legs. And these first movements, that's what's great about them, is you can very easily do them seated because there's no leg involvement or leg movement. All right, next is for our spine. It involves our ball. So we're holding our ball, our hands are facing each other. You see my hands are kind of rounded, as if a ball was really there. That's our little ball of energy. It's our pause, because whenever we separate our hands to stretch our spine, we come back to the ball before we switch. So that's a pause. It's a reminder to slow down. So holding our ball, the hand that's on top, we push towards the ground, and the other follows our spine up and pushes. So we're pushing up and down at the same time, stretching that spine, keeping that soft bend in our elbow, and continuing to breathe. So for breath on here, I inhale as I come to my ball, and then I exhale as I separate. And I feel like I get a better stretch when I exhale on the separate. Inhale as I come to the ball, and exhale as I separate. You know, as long as you follow principles, you can get the benefits from these warm-up movements. And so that feels good, that you don't have to remember all the things to get benefits. On the days whenever you might want to just have an easy day with Tai Chi, have an easy day with just your warm-ups. And on the days you want to be challenging, work on your movements. Back to our ball, we're going to take it side to side. This is a good place to, again, really engage those core muscles as you turn from side to side. Let the muscles in your core guide you side to side. So you're not just turning, but you're using that muscle. Y'all know I like to think of a straw sticking outside of my belly, or sticking out from my belly button. I haven't figured out how to make that an actual visual. I don't think my belly button's deep enough. But to think about a straw, turn into that corner and turn into that corner, and using these muscles to go side to side. Now the ball's just going along for the ride. The hand on top tells us which direction we're going. So if this hand's on bottom, I'm not going to go this way. Now we've talked about this with waving hands and clouds, and we're trying to open ourselves up. And so if you find that you are catching yourself going the wrong direction, remember, hand on top guides us, whether it be in our spinal warm-up or whether it be in our waving hands and clouds movement. But stop and experience it the wrong way and how it feels. So here my hand's on top, I turn to the side, and remember, we stop just above that knee. We're not going way over here. We're not trying to twist our spine. We're just warming up the muscles around our joint, or around our spine. But here I'm opening myself up. So that here is open. If I go the opposite way and keep this hand on top, look, I'm closed. So I think about a toddler and how a toddler will do that. They'll turn their shoulder to you. Oh, geez. Remind me later. My thing wants to reboot. You see, like how a toddler will do, they'll put their shoulder to you, like, Well, same thing. We're blocking off, we're closing off energy, and that's not what we do in Tai Chi. We open up that energy. So when we do waving hands and clouds, my hand is here across, and I turn in the direction of the hand that's on top. I'm opening myself up. If I were to do the opposite, look, I'm closing myself off. And so it is an energy thing. So is it the end of the world if you do it wrong? No, because you're still warming up your spine. Regardless, if you didn't have arms, going side to side would warm up your spine. But we're trying to be Tai Chi here, and we're opening ourselves up, opening ourselves up. So we have arm movements in our Tai Chi warm-ups that are for the purposes of Tai Chi. Because we can do exercises in other places that involve the same movements. I mean, I know you've seen before in an exercise big shoulder circles. You may have been to places where you really do twist that spine. Everything here is small. Oh gosh, my stomach just growled at me. All right. That's our neck, shoulder, spine, hips. So we're just going through reminders of our movements. This is where it gets complicated with weight transfer. So we have transfer to one foot, heel forward, hands back. We pause in the middle and then toe back, hands forward. Come back to center, forward, pause, and then remember that kickstand. So we're going back, but at that angle, which is more stable than if we were to go straight back. And you can experience it both ways. If you want to experience it with that foot straight back, make sure you have a chair nearby, unless you just have really good balance and you trust yourself. Just so you can feel what a difference it makes to have that toe at that angle and like a kickstand on the bike. That's the best comparison that I have come up with. So shifting the weight, and I really think I did come up with that comparison. I don't remember somebody telling me that. Here, you know, some things I just copy from my instructors, but that were always reminded me of a bike, a little kickstand. You know, that's also how why animals have tails. They use their little, it's like another leg that helps them balance. So that's kind of like our little tail back there. See, the bicycle comparison is just better, isn't it? So see how hard that leg is working that's holding our weight. And it's through this weight transfer, it's through one leg holding our weight that gets our muscles stronger and decreases our chance of falling. But we got to put in the work. Shifting weight to one leg and tapping out. Changing our hands but keeping them within our frame. I'm remaining upright. I'm not leaning. So I'm not going way out here. See, I really didn't fake that fall. I really was going towards falling. But that's why we stay in a frame. As if we went to Michael's or Hobby Lobby and special ordered a frame just for our bodies. We're staying in that frame. Don't forget to breathe. I'll tell you that when I catch myself holding my breath. Back to center. Now, when we start using these hands to do different things, it's easy for us to get here and then find a little bit of tension in those shoulders, or here, there's a little bit of tension in that shoulder. Just make sure that when it's said and done, that you release it and let it go. So always go back to no tension. Using muscle, I mean, it just requires a little bit of attention. Just pay attention to that tension, let it go. Knees, we have our loose fist. We never, clamp down and really have these clenched fists. We have a loose fist like we're holding that egg. Again, we're going to shift weight, lift, tap and punch. Bring it back, shift, lift, tap and punch. So next week when we come together, we'll go through these warm-ups without all this talking. I'm just talking you through all the little things, all the little pieces and parts that maybe we've forgotten, or maybe we've created bad habits. I have done it. I'm the victim of my own rules, or the unfollower of my own rules. Nice soft bend in our knees as we shift the weight, lift, and punch. Remember, this is a great movement because we move cross-lateral. which means this arm's moving and this leg's moving. So I'm not on the same side. Our brain wants us to do the same side. But we challenge our brain by doing cross-lateral movement, and that's how Tai Chi is good for our brain too, or just one way. Now we're going to shift weight forward. So we shift, place that foot out, and notice I said place because we empty step when we step in Tai Chi. We don't immediately give that foot weight. Now we shift forward as we punch, remaining upright. We're still not leaning, even though we're shifting weight forward. Now we shift to the side, switch feet, shift and punch, bring it back. So not all of your weight is shifting forward. You're still keeping some weight on that back leg. That back leg is flat on the floor. You're not lifting that heel up. As soon as you lift that heel up, then you start to lean and your balance can get off a lot easier. So stay grounded by keeping both of those feet flat on the floor. This will serve you when we get to our advanced 6 with the step forward and stepping back with our follow steps. It'll serve us to be able to have those heels down and grounded. Serves us for our balance. Be mindful of your knee. If you have problems with your knee, this movement can easily tweak it. So be mindful of how much weight you're shifting to that front foot. We don't want that knee to go beyond that toe. If you're shifting weight so far forward and your knee is going past your toe, then you're going to create some tension on that joint that can hurt you. So we live in the world where more is better. And so we feel like if we keep things small, we're not doing enough. But in Tai Chi, we're doing enough. In Tai Chi, that's the way it's set up.
Jennifer, do you mind muting me? I need to do something for a few minutes, okay?
I don't mind at all.
Right. Thank
You're welcome. All right. So that's for our knees. Last is for our ankles. I hold my hands right here in front of me. Something I catch myself doing is, I don't know why I do this, but I'll catch myself squeezing that hand. I have no idea why. So I have to be very conscious of keeping it loose. I'm holding my hands in front of me and they're very loose. I'm not squeezing or making any kind of fists. So we're going to shift weight to one leg and then heel toe. So we're rocking that foot, warming up the lower part of our legs, but also working on the range of motion of that ankle joint. Muscles that surround our ankles are so important for balance. When we have flexible ankle joints, that can help us catch ourselves if we lose our balance. And y'all, I just caught myself doing it. These fingers were just like clamped on that what's that called? Palm. Holding on tight's not going to keep me from falling, so I don't know what I'm doing. Shifting the weight and then big toe, little toe. So this is a little more awkward of a movement, but that ankle joint, it does a circle, right? We have a hinge joint here. That ankle joint has more of a range of motion. So when you stretch those ankles, do it all the way around. You can sit down. You can do like windshield wipers of your feet. Because this movement's kind of hard to do if you're seated. All right, shake it all out. Those are our warm-ups of our major joints. And we're ready to do our basic 6. I'm ready to drink a gallon of water. All right, I'm going to turn around. If there is any time you need me to turn back around, which I'll probably naturally do it anyway, because you want to see what's in front, what it looks like in front, then I will. I find it just easier to follow when I turn around. You let me know if your needs are different. So, when I do my basic 6 movements, I've come over here, which I'll call center, and then we'll eventually wave hands in clouds to the right, and then this is the center, and we go waving hands in clouds to the left. So I start a little off to the side because of the movements that we're going to do. So first is commencement. So we start with that good posture. We start with weight on both of our feet. No tension in our shoulders. Our hands are to the side, and we commence. We bring those hands up, facing each other, and down as we shift right. Place that left foot forward, hands come in and up. Shift left as those hands go out. Bring the right foot forward, and as my hands come back, I give weight to both legs for open and close. Single whip, shift left, step right. And what I'm doing is getting into a staggered stance. So it's a very slight step forward, and it's more of a placement because of that empty step. And then when we push our hands away from us, that's when we give the weight to that foot that we just stepped out with. So we step out, place that foot. Now when we push our hands, now we have weight on both legs. We turn our hands away from us, and then we separate as if we're taking those hands down a wall, and my eyes follow this left hand, which is opposite of the foot that stepped out. So that's the single whip rule of which hand your eyes follow. Now I'm going to shift left, and I'm going to bring that right foot back, and my right hand comes to my hips. Now I'm ready for waving hands in clouds. I step out, I switch my hands, and I turn. Shift, step, switch, turn. Shift, step, switch, turn. Shift, step, switch, turn. Remember, we do 6. So here's 5 and 6. And then we come to center for open and close. Now we're ready to go that way. Same moves we just did, just opposite. So we shift right, step out left into a staggered stance. No weight on that foot, but we give it weight as we push our hands forward. So we're not giving all of our weight to that foot that's forward. We adjust the weight, so now we have weight on both legs. We're in a staggered stance, which is a very stable stance. So we take those hands out, turn and separate. Remember the rule, we follow the hand opposite of the foot that stepped out. So in this case, our right hand, because our left foot is the one forward. Shift right, bring that left foot back, that left hand comes to our hip. Now waving hands in clouds. Step, switch, and turn. Shift. Remember, we're opening up that chest. So the hands on top, we go in that direction. Shift, step, switch. But remember, we stay in our frame. We don't go way over here. We stay in that frame. Shift, switch, turn, shift. Now I don't know if this is 6. Let's do 2 more just for good measure. It's just good to practice. And open and close. Close it out. So talking you through it makes it very choppy, and that's okay. We learn by chopping it up. But our goal, and especially in this exploring class, is to smooth it out and to make it slow, smooth, and continuous as we go through the movement. So less choppy. So let's do that. Let's go over our basic 6 several times. Just follow me. This time, I'll just call out the names of the movements as we get to them. All right, here we go. Good posture. No tension. We're breathing. And commence. Open, close. Single whip to the right. Waving hands in clouds. See me smoothing out those edges. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close it out. So hopefully everything is coming back to you, but do you have any questions specifically of what some of these hand movements look like from the front? Don't feel embarrassed if you don't remember. It's okay. It's amazing how things like leave us when we get out of the practice of it. All right, so let's practice it again. Something that I want to bring attention to you is on the waving hands in clouds. In the name of, we get this idea that things have to be bigger in order to be right. So keep those steps really small, right? So when you step, you're picking that foot up and you're almost putting it down exactly where it was, or exactly right beside where it was. So you're going places, but you're not going very fast. So I suggest really practicing the footwork of waving hands in clouds and getting used to just how small these steps are. I have made the mistake, and I think it's because I'm instructing the movement and I want to make sure that you see it. So I want you to see a step, not just a step, right? So sometimes I exaggerate movement just to make sure y'all see it. And what I have caught myself doing is making too big of a step. How did I catch myself? Well, I caught myself not in here because this floor is carpeted. I caught myself in a space that had just waxed their floors. So what I did was I stepped, and then when I went to shift the weight, at the same time, I kicked off with that foot. Well, imagine if the floor's slippery, what happened? My foot slipped. So here I'm doing falls prevention and setting myself up to fall. So why is it better for my steps to be small? Well, when my step is small and I go to shift the weight, I can bring the weight off of this leg and all the way to this leg and be right over top of this leg, have all the weight here, and then I can lift this foot up and move it. So it's not so far away that I'm having to kick off on it. I can really shift the weight and then lift and step. And then really shift the weight. Because my feet are close together, I can transfer that weight right over top of that hip, right over the top of that knee, right over top of that ankle and foot. But if I'm coming from out here, then my weight is centered here. So in order to get it over here, I have to kick it off. But if my foot's closer, my weight's here, and I can shift the weight here so I'm not too wide. That centering that weight with your legs too wide requires you to kick off. I don't know if I gave a good explanation of it, but just be aware of taking small steps with waving hands in clouds. Waving hands in clouds is my favorite movement for truly making a difference in balance and falls prevention because of the magic of weight transfer, because of the magic of body awareness, of holding your body upright as you shift the weight and go places. We don't have Tai Chi walking in our Tai Chi moves, but you can Tai Chi walk and practice weight transfer by stepping, empty, then shift weight, stepping. And I guess we do in our advanced movements when we do peri-peri punch, we do step, shift, step, shift. That's probably the closest to Tai Chi walking that we do is in our peri-peri and punch movement. But those two movements, walking sideways, Tai Chi style, which means empty step, shift, follow step, or walking forward, empty step, shift, empty step, shift, really strengthens the muscles. Slowing down those movements helps make our muscles stabilizers. So strong and stable, which, I mean, that's what we're going for. We're trying to improve our mobility and not fall. We don't want to get hurt. I don't want to pay a hospital bill. I don't want to pay an x-ray bill. I don't want to pay any of those bills. It costs a lot of money to fall. Prevention is what we're here for. All right, so let's go through it one more time, then we'll cool down. So basic 6 movements. And next week, like I said, we'll talk less about what we're doing, and then we'll move into our advanced 6, and we'll do a lot more practicing and exploring all of our principles with our movements. All right, so here we go. Basic 6. And commence. Open, close. Single whip right. Waving hands in clouds. Paying attention to that step so that we can weight or transfer weight safely. Open and close. Single whip. Remember that empty step, even if it's just for like a mini second. Waving hands in clouds. Check in with your posture, check in with your breathing as you go through these movements. And close it out. All right, we have time to do it one more time, and this time I won't say one word. So let's practice it with Jing, with mental quietness. And commence. hopefully that felt really good. It's all coming back to you. Maybe you caught yourself making some mistakes, and that's great. Anytime we catch ourselves making mistakes, that means we know better. We have learned something somewhere along the way to say, ooh, that wasn't right. I know I've caught myself taking the wrong foot or moving the wrong hand and going, oh, well, that wasn't right. And I'll go, like it's a restart. Catching yourself doing wrong means you know better. If you do it wrong and you don't know you're doing it wrong, then what good is it? All right, so we're here to learn and get better. Now let's cool down. Well, do y'all have any questions or anything to say about this first class back?
I like how you, that last one, how we just did it slow and continuous, no talking. That was good practice.
Yeah, because we learn and then we put it to work. You know, it's kind of like your mama holds your hand for so long and teaches you the ways, and then gradually walks beside you, and then steps back and lets you go. And so I'm your mama.
Mama of Tai Chi.
I ain't your daddy, I'm your mama. All right, let's give ourselves a nice fist massage. Oh, I'm so glad to be back. Oh, it just feels so good. We had farmers market this summer, and it wasn't fun. I didn't enjoy it. I love this. Good old fist massage. Saying thank you to our legs for working so hard. And now let's gather tension and then let it go. Gather and release. We purposely gather tension so we know what tension feels like. So we recognize it and then we go, ugh, let that go. And it feels so much better to not have tension. Tense and release. Inhale and exhale. And I just caught myself standing too wide. So you see me, I brought it in. Body awareness. How to hold our bodies, how to hold our weight, how to breathe and not hold tension. That's what we're going for. We're taking care of our bodies. And one more. We have our right fist, which I mirror image, right fist representing our strength. Remember, we don't squeeze our hand. We keep that loose fist. We have our left hand, our fingers together representing our friendship. So strength, friendship, and humility. And we put those together, and in mutual respect, we say namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Jennifer.
You're welcome. I love y'all so much. I hope y'all have a great weekend. I'll see you next week. Y'all know if you need me, just let me know.
Y'all have a great week. Love y'all.
Thank you.
Love y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.